Hi, I'm Joe Caparata, founder of Unique Corals, and I'm here today to talk about the Dalua GW Plus protein skimmer. It's their new DC version. This complements the existing AC line. This has a controllable pump feature, comes in 4 different models, and it's newly released now in the US after being available in Australia first. A little bit about Dalua first. They've been around since around 2011. They make really high-end skimmers at an affordable price point, and they also distribute Illumagic lights. Since 2011, they've grown considerably in the Australian market, and now recently in 2019, Unique Corals had partnered with them to bring these products here to the States. One thing that's really amazing about this company is the customer service. They treat every customer like gold, and when you have a high-quality skimmer and parts coupled with that customer service, it really makes for a win-win for everybody. I do want to talk about the GW7 today. That's what we have here. We're going to unbox it. We're going to show you the different aspects of it and some of the benefits, why this might be a little bit better than some of the other skimmers on the market. As you know, it is a crowded space. You have a lot of options to choose from, but there are some features in here which I think you really will enjoy, that I personally like, and it's at a price point that most people can afford. Got our instructions, our controllable pump, and we've got GW skimmer here, collection cup neck and top, the hoses, and the bubble plate diffuser. We're going to unwrap the Dalua Great White Skimmer now. So I'm going to just go over some of the parts with you here. We've got some feet here, and these are great little vibration dampeners. Any pump, even if it's a DC and AC, it vibrates, it's a pump. So having these rubber feet on the bottom of your skimmer will mean that a little bit less of that noise is going to transfer to the glass where you might hear a hum. That's part of what makes this pump really quiet. I also recommend that when you put your skimmer inside your sump, that it's not touching any of the walls. It's always good measure to prevent any possible cascading down the exterior walls, and you just want to isolate it. You want to prevent any vibrations, from the plastic hitting the glass wall. It's just good practice to do that. On here, you have the effluent pipe. This is what controls the water level inside the skimmer. By tightening this down, it restricts the water from leaving the protein skimmer, which in turn raises the water level. If you loosen it a little bit, water can exit more freely, thus lowering the water level. This is your grommet right here. This will allow your pump Venturi to go through, and that's pretty much it. This is a single thick acrylic casting with a really cool feature here. This is the air silencer. One of the new features of this DC line is that it allows the air to travel through here, which silences it down, kind of like a muffler. It's got a control over here, so you can control how much air goes in, but usually you want to wind up keeping this open to get maximum airflow through. So now we're going to take the top, which is also wrapped up. I'm not one for untying. I like to just rip the bags like Christmas morning. And that's your top, nice heavy duty acrylic. And this can sit right on here. And it's got 4 tabs, and you just twist it in a little bit. That's all it takes. There's a gasket embedded already in the neck. Another nice feature about this, you don't have a gasket to lose. A lot of skimmers have a gasket that you have to clean and constantly put on and make sure it's in the right position, only to press it out and then water drips out. This is impregnated already inside there. It's not going anywhere. So now we're ready to assemble the diffuser plate onto the DC pump. You're going to take this part here. It's already got the gasket inside. We'll take the ring off of it, and we'll just screw that right on. You don't need Teflon or anything. There's already a gasket inside, and this is all underwater anyway. And you just want to make it hand tight. Don't use any wrenches or tools on it like that. Now that that's on, we can take this piece off, and we'll get to this ring in a minute. And this is a 2-part piece. These 2 knobs fit into these 2 holes right here. You just stick this on. I like to line it up right over the pump so that it sits somewhat centered inside there. Not super critical, but it's good to do. And then we take the ring and we put it back onto that part. Okay, and we just thread that on until it's a little bit snug. And that's that. And then we take this, again, these 2 points go right inside here. And now we can put this center screw that holds it. Even if you don't have instructions or anything, it's pretty straightforward and intuitive. It's pretty easy to figure out. Everything just kind of goes one way. and you just make that a little bit snug. Now that's done. This is the controller, the DC controller that will control your pump. A couple of nice features about DC pumps if you're not familiar. One is you can't run out of water and burn the pump out. It's got a setting where if it runs low on water, it will automatically shut off. The other thing is it's got low voltage, so it's safer. You know, traditional pumps that are 110 volts, if it's shorted or something, there is a small risk of electrocution, not a problem with the DC pumps. The controller gives you a nice feature because you don't have to unplug the unit anytime you want to service it or clean the skim aid out of it. You could just hit this F, which is feed mode, and it automatically powers down the skimmer. What's great about this is you don't have to remember to turn it back on. You just hit the F button, service your skimmer, and it goes back on when it's ready. Lastly, if you're doing a water change and the water level inside your sump changes, it's nice to be able to just shut the skimmer down until you're done with your water change. Because as you know, when the water level goes up inside the sump, it also changes the height inside the skimmer and could cause it to overflow, and then you have to do a little bit more maintenance. So all of these features are now built into the new DC powered skimmer. The controller gets plugged into the power supply, and we also have the standard power cord here. The power cord will go into the power supply. Very simple. This goes into your wall. Always create a drip loop just in case water ever wants to run down. You have that standard drip loop. And this will go into this plug right there. And then this gets plugged into the pump right here. You just put that through, and it's a somewhat waterproof housing. I mean, it's not waterproof, it's water resistant. And then you'll have power to your controller and your pump. Now that we've assembled the bubble diffuser onto the pump, we can install it inside the body of the skimmer. So we've got 4 screws on here. We're just gonna loosen those up and take those out and separate it from the base. You wanna take note that there is a little groove indentation, which is meant to receive the pump wire. And there's also a groove setting over here. There are feet for the pump, which we need to install. These are anti-vibration feet. As you know, any pump can and will vibrate a little bit. So the more rubber we can put between it and hard surfaces, the less noise and vibrations you'll hear. Okay, now that those are on, what we could do is actually turn it on its side, just make sure it's all together well, and stick that in there, and then stick the Venturi thing on. That goes through. You just want to make sure that that's lined up on the top. We can take the unit, spin it over, and make sure that it lines up. Okay, now we've got it on. We put the screws back in, and you'll make those screws a little snug. So now that we've got everything assembled, we can take our Venturi airline, this silicone tubing, and feed it through. There is a little hole on the skimmer, very conveniently located. You just stick that right in there. There are threads inside there. It's just made to grip this. This goes in nicely, and then this goes on to one of the 2 ports. The other port is for the air inlet. So you just stick that on, very simple, and that is done. Now that we've got the Venturi set up, we can talk about the collection cup. Comes with a factory plug inside this drain port here. So if you want to clean the skimmer, you could just twist it, pull it out, and then drain it that way, give it a good cleaning, and put it back in. And for those that don't want to take the lid off every time, maybe you've got a tight stand or whatever, and you just want to drain it, you can remove the cap and use this. It's got a valve, just a little built-in line, silicone tubing again. You just run it right into a collection cup, open the valve, drain it, close it, you're done. Again, I'm Joe Caparata with Unique Corals, and we just showed you the Dalua GW Plus protein skimmer. It's the DC version. This is the model GW7. Hope you enjoyed it. Happy reefing.